Oh, dang on flag.
No, it's on them. It's on them. It's on them. They hit the quarterback. We good. Don't think wrong. Y'all programmed to think wrong. Think right. Program, man. Hey, we're scared, man. What's wrong with y'all, man?
Ooh, the bucket. Stop playing. Stop.
What's his name? Come on, man. What's his name?
There is a lot of controversy surrounding the Cleveland Browns, and the criticism of head coach Kevin Stefanski is getting worse and worse. What should have been a celebration of the most exciting quarterback play Cleveland has seen in over 10 years has turned into a vote on coaching skill, making decisions under pressure, and whether the Browns have once again found a way to ruin their own success. Shedeur Sanders, a rookie in the 5th round, is at the center of this storm. He just put on a show that was so electrifying, dominant, and amazing that it should have made him the clear choice for the franchise quarterback of the future. But somehow, even though he did everything right, the Browns lost again, and the blame game has started in earnest. The numbers tell a story that should make every Browns fan excited about the future and angry about the present. Shedeur Sanders threw for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns and ran for 29 yards and another touchdown. He was both the team's best passer and best rusher at the same time. He carried the team's offense on his shoulders like a seasoned pro, instead of a rookie who wasn't even supposed to be starting at this point in the season.
Appreciate the game.
Hey, what are you doing in the offseason, man?
Okay, I gotta make it through the season first. We got 2 different problems over here, buddy.
His quarterback rating of 97.3 shows not only how many times he threw the ball, but also how well he moved the ball and scored points. This was a coming-out party by any standard. It was a statement performance that showed Sanders was a real NFL quarterback who should be in the conversation with the best young quarterbacks in the league. Even though Sanders played like a pro quarterback and did everything he could to help the Browns win, they lost to the Tennessee Titans 31-29 in a game that will haunt the team for years to come. The loss itself is bad enough, but the way it happened and the specific choices that cost the Browns their chance to win have made people very angry, even more than usual after a game. More and more of Browns insiders, analysts, and fans are getting answers, but they come with Kevin Stefanski's firing papers. The argument is about 2 crucial 2-point conversion attempts that will be talked about and analyzed for the rest of the season and maybe even longer. After Sanders led the Browns on a great 80-yard touchdown drive that showed off all of his skills, Cleveland was down 31-23, but still had a chance to make it a 1-score game. In this case, the common sense is clear. Make it 31-24 by kicking the extra point. Then, trust your defense to stop the other team so your offense can tie the game with a touchdown and extra point on the next possession. But Stefanski, who some say is either worshiping bad analytics or trying to sabotage the team, chose to go for 2 points right away. From a purely mathematical point of view, the choice is defensible. If you make the 2-point attempt, you're only 6 points behind, so another touchdown will win the game instead of just tying it. But analytics only work when you think you can actually do something, and what happened on this try was anything but normal. The play call was unclear, the execution was non-existent, and the Browns didn't score, so they were down 8 points with not much time left. They now needed a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie, not just a touchdown and an extra point. Sanders, showing the calmness and clutch play that makes franchise quarterbacks great, went right back to work. He led another impressive scoring drive, this time ending it with his 4th touchdown of the game to make the score 31-29. Now was the important moment, the play that has become the center of all the anger and controversy surrounding Stefanski. The Browns had to make this 2-point attempt to tie the game and send it to overtime. It would make sense to give the ball to your quarterback, who had just thrown for more than 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. Letting the player who got you here finish the job would be a sign of trust. Kevin Stefanski, on the other hand, had other plans. Stefanski chose a wildcat formation instead of a normal two-point play, where Sanders would take the snap and either pass or run, depending on what the defense did. He took Sanders off the field completely. The quarterback had been playing perfectly all game and handed the ball directly to running back Austin Judkins. The play was a complete failure. When Judkins took the snap, he seemed to be unsure of what to do and ran right into a wall of Tennessee defenders, getting nothing. The conversion did not work. The game was done. Shedeur Sanders, the hero of this almost comeback, could only stand on the sideline and watch helplessly as his coach's choice cost the team any chance of winning. The press conference that came after it only made people want Stefanski to lose his job more. Stefanski took responsibility for the two-point conversion decisions in the most vague way possible, saying over and over again, "That's on me, and I make every call." However, he never explained how he came to these terrible decisions. When asked directly why he took Sanders off the field for the last two-point try, Stefanski didn't really answer, only saying that the play didn't go as planned. This vague explanation hasn't done anything to calm the storm of criticism that has been coming his way. People who worked for Brown were very angry while watching this press conference. The coach had just seen his rookie quarterback play the best game by a Cleveland quarterback in a long time. Some people think that the Wildcat call showed a lack of trust in Sanders, while others think it was a deliberate move to make sure that if the Browns made this comeback, it wouldn't be all Sanders' fault. Both explanations are bad for a head coach who was supposed to be an offensive genius with a lot of experience developing quarterbacks. The fact that this story is similar to Cam Ward's makes it even more interesting and believable. Ward was the first player chosen in the draft. He was the quarterback that everyone thought would be the safest and most ready for the NFL. He went to Tennessee with high hopes and the full backing of his company. Most evaluators thought Sanders was just a developmental project who would need years before he could help. He lasted until the 5th round. But when these two played against each other in an NFL game, Sanders won by a wide margin. Ward was having trouble completing even the simplest passes, while Sanders was putting up video game numbers and making throws that made scouts rethink how they evaluated players. There was a clear and strong difference. Sanders looked like the best player in the draft, while Ward looked like he should still be on the bench learning how to play professionally. For everyone who had been saying since the draft that Sanders was better than where he was picked, this game proved it. The eye test confirmed what some people had been saying all along. Cleveland got a franchise quarterback in the 5th round, but Tennessee used the first overall pick on a player who may never be worth the money they spent on him. Browns fans have been through decades of bad quarterbacks, so this situation is even more frustrating because of the history. Since they came back to the league in 1999, Cleveland has been looking for a franchise quarterback. They've drafted quarterbacks high, signed free agents for a lot of money, and tried every other way they could think of to fix the most important position in football. Nothing has worked. In NFL circles, the long line of bad quarterbacks has become a running joke, a warning about how bad organizations are at picking good players and how bad they are at evaluating talent. The Browns seem to have finally found their answer in the 5th round, after all those years of looking at all those wasted draft picks and bad free agent signings. Shedeur Sanders has shown in a few games that he has all the skills you want in a franchise quarterback. His accuracy is amazing, and he puts the ball in places that make it easy for his receivers and hard for defenders. With each game, his ability to make decisions gets better as he learns more about NFL defenses and what works at this level. The mobility is better than advertised, which lets him extend plays, get away from pressure, and pick up important yards with his legs when he needs to. You can see his leadership in how his teammates react to him and support him. And maybe most importantly, he has that special clutch quality that lets him play better when everything is on the line. These traits don't show up overnight, and you can't teach them through coaching. Either Sanders has these traits, or he doesn't. And the movie evidence shows that he definitely does, which makes it even more strange that Stefanski doesn't seem to want to fully accept him as the clear starter. There shouldn't be any arguments, competition, or debate about who the Browns' quarterback is going to be after what Sanders did against Tennessee. The coaching staff should make it clear that they are building the offense around Sanders' strengths and name him the starter for the rest of the season. Instead, we get vague answers at press conferences and play-calling decisions that make it seem like Stefanski still isn't fully on board. That last two-point conversion call by the Wildcat will go down as one of the most confusing coaching decisions in Browns history. And that's saying something for a team that has had a lot of strange things happen over the years. You need to think about the situation to see why this choice is so bad. Sanders had just led a great scoring drive, making smart decisions and throwing the ball accurately even when he was under pressure. He had scored 4 touchdowns in the game. He didn't seem to be overwhelmed by the situation or scared of what was at stake. He was in charge of the offense, and his teammates clearly trusted him and were playing very well to help him. Now, imagine being told at that moment that your coach doesn't trust you to make a simple 2-point conversion. Imagine that someone takes the ball away from you, not because you've messed up or shown you can't handle the pressure, but because your coach would rather try a trick play that the team has his footwork and ability to see defensive blocks in front of him. Huddle mechanics and pain. He's beginning to realize that confidence is not always strong, especially for rookies who are still trying to prove they belong. When your coach shows that he or she doesn't believe in you in front of everyone else during the most important part of the game, it can be hard to get rid of those doubts. Sanders deserves a lot of credit for how mature and graceful he handled the situation. Instead of blaming Stefanski in his post-game comments, instead of being angry or frustrated that he didn't get to see defensive looks in front of him, his subtle mechanics and his comfort, I think he's starting to see things like he did before, trusting that things would work out the way they were supposed to. This answer says a lot about his character and mental strength, but it doesn't make what Stefanski did any less wrong or hurt the team's chances of winning. Stefanski's decisions during this game as a whole make me very worried about his judgment and his ability to handle important game situations. In theory, the decision to go for 2 points after the first touchdown was a good one, but it put too much pressure on the team because they had to make a low percentage play just to stay within 1 score. Because that conversion didn't work, the Browns had to make another 2-point attempt later in the game, taking away any room for mistakes. Cleveland would have had more chances to win if they had taken a more cautious approach, kicking extra points and trusting their offense to score twice. Instead, they were forced down a narrow corridor where one failed conversion meant automatic defeat. The Browns' special teams failures made things worse. A blocked punt was yet another time when Cleveland lost the game instead of being outplayed by Tennessee. When you're playing a team that has only won 1 game all season, you're favored by a few points at home, and your quarterback is playing out of his mind, you can't afford to give away points and possessions because of mistakes you make. The blocked punt, the missed 2-point conversions, and the defense's failure to make key stops when they were needed. All of these mistakes show that there are problems with coaching and preparation that go beyond just a few bad calls. Cleveland's problems are getting worse because of the injuries. Several key players have left the game, and it's not clear if they will be available in the future. Stefanski's vague answers about specific injuries during his press conference didn't help fans understand what was going on or give them any idea of what to expect in the next few weeks. The lack of openness, along with the bad decisions made during games, makes it seem like the coaching staff has lost control of the story and may not trust their own ability to lead this team well. This loss is especially painful because it could have been avoided. Sanders did everything he could to help the Browns win. The defense wasn't perfect, but it made enough plays to keep Cleveland in the game. The team had a lot of chances to win, even though their special teams were terrible. A win would have given them momentum going into the important last stretch of the season. Instead, bad coaching choices turned a game that could have been won into another heartbreaking loss. Browns fans, who have been disappointed for decades, are about to reach their breaking point. People are calling for Stefanski to be fired right away because they are angry about this one game and because they feel that he is the main thing keeping Sanders from becoming a star and the Browns from being respectable. If Sanders can play this well, even with bad coaching and game management, think about what he could do with a staff that believed in him completely and built enough fence to make the most of his many talents. The possibilities are exciting, but there is a fear that Cleveland will waste this chance like they have wasted so many others, by keeping a coach who has shown he can't be trusted in important situations. In the next few days, we'll find out if Browns owners are paying attention to the many calls for change. In the past, Jimmy Haslam has shown that he's willing to make big, even controversial, moves when he thinks the future of the franchise is at stake. The trade and contract for Deshaun Watson, which turned out to be a disaster, showed that Haslam will go all out when he thinks he's found his franchise quarterback. He now has another franchise quarterback, one who he got in the 5th round and is already playing at an elite level. The question is whether he'll be brave enough to fire the coach who seems determined to keep that quarterback from reaching his full potential. For Shedeur Sanders, this game was both a win and a loss. Validation because he proved without a doubt that he belongs, that the worries before the draft about his readiness and skills were too much, that he can now play professional football at the highest level. Heartbreak. Even though he did everything right and played the best game of his young career, he still lost because of things that were completely out of his control. How he handles this disappointment will tell us even more about who he is and how he thinks. But based on how he acted after the game, it looks like he'll learn from this loss and come back even stronger next week. It's sad that we have to talk about this at all. A rookie quarterback who throws for more than 350 yards and scores 4 touchdowns should be a reason to celebrate, not argue. The story should be about how Cleveland found its long-term answer at the most important position in sports, not about bad coaching and missed chances. Sanders deserves more than this. This is not good enough for Browns fans. The team that has had more quarterbacks fail than any other in modern football history deserves better than to see their best young quarterback in years have his moment taken away by bad coaching choices. For years to come, quarterbacks, coaches, and draft analysts will study the film of this game. Sanders played perfectly in so many ways, showing off his good footwork, great ball placement, smart decision-making under pressure, and ability to quickly process information and make the right read. These are the basic skills that make a great quarterback, and Sanders showed that he has all of them. It's amazing that a 5th-round rookie already has these tools, and it shows that he has real all-pro potential if he gets the right training and support. But for a player to grow and get better, the coaching staff needs to believe in him and work to make the most of his strengths. There are serious doubts about whether Stefanski can be the coach that Sanders needs right now. The Wildcat call suggests that there is either a serious lack of trust or something even worse going on. A determination to show that Sanders isn't the answer, because doing so would mean that Stefanski has to admit he made mistakes in his own evaluations. Neither of these reasons is good enough for a head coach who should put the team's success above their own. People who work for the Browns who want Stefanski to be fired right away aren't being emotional or acting on impulse. They're seeing a pattern of behavior that could stop a special young talent from growing. They see a coach who seems to be unable to get out of his own way, who makes the hard choice when the easy one would work better, and who seems more interested in showing how smart he is than in helping his players do well. These are major problems for a head coach, and the longer they go on, the worse they are for the team. The next few weeks will be very important for figuring out where this team is going in the future. Stefanski will feel a lot of pressure if Sanders keeps playing like this and keeps putting on performances that show how good he is. Every bad play call will be looked at closely. People will question every conservative choice. People will be angry every time Sanders doesn't have full control of the offense. The coach and the quarterback are now going in different directions, and something will have to give. For fans who have put a lot of emotion into this team over the years of disappointment, the stakes couldn't be higher. They've finally found a quarterback they can trust, a player who could take them to places they haven't been since the franchise came back. It's almost too painful to think about how that chance could be wasted because of bad coaching. That's why the calls for change are so loud, so persistent, and so important. People feel like time is running out, that every game with Stefanski in charge is a chance that was missed, another chance for Sanders' growth to be stopped. Shedeur Sanders has shown that he is ready for this level. He has shown that he can handle the pressure, throw the ball, lead the team, and do well when it matters most.
Now it's time for the Cleveland Browns to show that they're ready for him and that they'll do whatever it takes to help him reach his full potential and build the team around him in the right way. If that means firing the head coach in the middle of the season, then so be it. The long-term success of the franchise is more important than the job security of any one coach. Stefanski seems to be the biggest thing standing in the way of Cleveland getting the future they've been looking for more than 20 years. The game Sanders played against Tennessee was amazing. It was the kind of breakout game that lets everyone know a player is a real star. It should be praised, looked at, and used as a model for how to improve the offense in the future. Instead, coaching issues and worries about whether the Browns will once again find a way to lose when they should win have taken center stage. That's the short version of the Cleveland Browns story, and it really needs a new ending. Shedeur Sanders might be the right person to write it, but only if his coaches leave him alone and let him do his job. We'll have to wait and see if that happens, but the clock is ticking, and people in Cleveland are losing patience.